Hi guys, welcome back to our channel and to what is most likely going to be our last pregnancy update, which is terrifying. So I am 36 weeks and 1 day pregnant. We are hoping that little man is going to arrive before 40 weeks, but knowing my luck, I'm going to be sat here at 40 weeks doing another final bump date saying I jinxed it, I shouldn't have opened my mouth.
being completely miserable.
So if you are new to our channel, first of all, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to watch our other pregnancy related videos, there will be a playlist linked down below, and there will also be a link above our heads in the iCard if you would like to watch all the other pregnancy related videos we've done. A lot has happened in the last 4-week period as well, leading up to labour and birth.
Yeah.
The more I say it, the more it hits me, and then I'm like, oh crap. I actually have to give birth in a certain amount of weeks. Growth scans have now finished. I've had all 3 and we have a good growing baby on our hands, which is great. In the last bump day, I did rewatch it and I wasn't very specific. I only really gave the estimated weight he was going to be at birth rather than going over the estimated weight at his scans. If you haven't watched my other bump dates, then I have low pape, and just to make sure that he's growing correctly, which is what pape can kind of diminish, it can kind of...
It's a growth hormone, essentially.
Yeah, it's a growth hormone that comes from the placenta, and it can affect birth weight of baby, so he could have come out a little bit underweight, yeah. I had scans at 28 weeks, 32 weeks, and my most recent one was last week, which was technically my 36-week scan. I was 35 weeks and 6 days, so yeah, pretty much
basically 36 weeks at that point.
At my first scan, so 28 weeks, he was measuring 3 pounds and 3 ounces. Then I had my 32-week scan and he was measuring at 4 pounds and 12 ounces. So quite a big increase in 4 weeks. And then my most recent scan, he was measuring at bang on 6 pounds.
Yeah.
So he's growing well and he's growing at a steady rate, which is good.
That's what we like.
Consultant isn't concerned. I'm guessing... If you want to have a guess, then leave it in the comments at how big you think he might be. I think he's going to be between 7 and 7.5 pounds.
I think he's going to be closer to 8.
So that was the only kind of big event that's happened. All the rest has been like symptoms. So let's jump right into that whirlpool. Pregnancy sciatica is a thing. And...
You've had a hilariously fun time.
It's not really been in my back as much now, but as baby has been getting bigger and his head has been getting bigger and getting lower, bearing in mind he's been head down for probably about the past 6 or 7 weeks, he has been pressing on my sciatic nerve, which has been causing a lot of shooting pains down my butt cheeks. Mainly my right butt cheek. It's quite uncomfortable. I noticed it a lot when I was getting like up and down from being in a sitting position to a standing position. I would get this horrible shooting pain like down my butt cheek and then into like the
Your
top
thigh.
of my leg, yeah. But now he's starting to drop a little bit more. That has started to ease, but that has also triggered lightning crotch, which is horrendous. I'm not gonna lie, it is so painful because obviously his head is pressing on nerves and it's pressing on nerves around my cervix, and it is very, very uncomfortable. It does feel like little tiny like electric shocks in your area. So not very comfy, but there's not really much you can do about lightning crotch, unfortunately. Yeah. And trust me, I have looked. There
She
isn't-
has looked, and I have looked. Yeah, there's not really much you can do about it.
other than have your baby. His movements have now become a lot more. I don't know how to describe it. They're not as kind of jabby as they were before, so I can't feel like elbows and feet as much anymore. They're more like his whole body rolling over.
Because he's much bigger.
Yeah.
I think it's down to like surface area.
He's
like the
running out
surface
of
area
room.
of his hand is now essentially bigger than it was, so it won't feel less like a jab and more like a push or something.
Yeah.
They're not delicate or light or sort of like little jabs.
They're not like little poops.
Yeah.
They're like punches. But I love feeling him move. It is, even if it is uncomfortable, when his like feet are jabbed in my ribs, I love feeling him move. It's the best thing ever because it's my way of bonding with him while he's still.
He's still there.
Yeah, whilst he's still in my stomach, and it's going to be a different dynamic once he's here, so I'm making the most of this one while I've still got it. These two kind of link into each other. I do feel like he's starting to drop, but I don't think it's one of those, like, I wake up one morning and it's like, oh, your belly's dropped. It's kind of been like a gradual thing. Like, I've asked you a few times, like, do you think my belly's dropped?
Some days I'll say no, and some days I'll say, yeah, it does look a little bit like it. It's very difficult to tell from the outside, as well as it's more often than not an up or a down thing. Because there have been times where like your belly has seemed lower, and then like the next morning it seemed a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So I guess it kind of depends on which angle you sleep at, maybe.
Maybe. I do think it is like, it's going to be like a gradual thing, but it is going to get to a point where I wake up one morning and it's like, yeah, he's dropped for definite. But the reason why I think he has dropped is because I'm peeing so much more. It's kind of gone back to like first trimester levels, but like times 10. Like when I go to sleep at night, I have to go to sleep a bit earlier because I know that I'm just going to lose so much sleep from getting up to go to the toilet. I'm going between 3 and 5 times a night, so that's what makes me think he's dropped, because when I stand up I can actually feel his head kind of like slot down.
You've got to bear in mind that like your actual bladder capacity is smaller because he's pressing on it.
I am pretty sure my bladder is the size of a peanut.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm always hungry now.
Yeah.
Like these past 4 weeks, I have been like raiding the cupboards. It is just for like snack food. Like I'm not constantly hungry for full meals. But
You're just snacking a lot.
I just want to snack constantly. Don't feel bad about it.
Oh yeah, don't feel bad about it.
I have like done some research on it, and all like the articles I've read and all the forums I've read have pretty much said it's your body telling you that you just need to eat, and your body's obviously missing something. My stitch has been getting a little bit more irritating. For those of you who don't know, at about 22 weeks I had a cervical stitch fitted just as a precaution because my cervix was shortening a bit too quickly for the consultant's liking, so stitch was put in just to make sure that preterm labour didn't happen. I did go to hospital. I did go to the ward where I'm due to give birth on and said, please can you just take it out, and that was at 35 weeks and they said no.
Yeah, they said no, you can't, and they explained that it's more beneficial for you and for baby that stays in there until at least 37 weeks. But you've also got a date for that to be removed.
Woo!
Woo!
Boob leakage. That has been...
You could put that in so many other ways.
Yeah, but I'm just going to say, these videos are just to say it how it is. So in my last bump day, I did mention that my boobs had started leaking a bit of colostrum, but now the volume of liquid has increased to the point where I'm waking up in the middle of the night and I've leaked down my arm, which is a bit embarrassing, but at the same time it's like...
It's completely natural.
It's natural, and I know that my body's doing what it's supposed to, and it's prepping for baby. Last kind of symptom, I suppose, is I've been feeling quite anxious, but it is mainly just about birth. I am nervous about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm nervous about giving birth.
Naturally so.
It's like, it's not a comfortable process. The type of birth that I'm thinking of in my head, you do need to have a certain mindset for it. You need to be calm, you need to be collected, because if I start stressing, then that'll stress the baby out, and that won't be good for either of us.
And then I'm going to stress out for sure.
Yeah. It's just getting into that right mindset, and
Yeah.
I think it's just like the whole lockdown situation, it makes you think a lot more. Like, I've had a lot more time to just sit and think about how I want my birth to be.
We had a bit of a discussion the other day, and I basically told you, for want of better words, to try and manage your expectations.
Yeah.
If you manage your expectations correctly, don't have this lovely whimsical idea of how you want it to go in your head, because chances are they don't usually go to plan, or perfectly, in any case.
At the end of the day, if you're feeling anxious, just know it's natural to feel anxious. This is a big thing. You're bringing another life into the world.
Yeah.
And it's not the most comfortable process ever. So I did put a post up on my Instagram stories asking if anyone had any questions about like pregnancy and stuff, and I only got a few questions, so I thought I would incorporate it into this video rather than do a Q&A, because there's no point in doing a Q&A for like 3 questions. They're kind of aimed at both of us.
Yeah.
So we'll quickly go through those.
Yeah.
What's your favourite part of pregnancy? Feeling and move.
For you, it's definitely feeling and move.
Yeah. Like, it's...
For me, it's feeling and move when he wants to move for me, because he barely ever does.
Yeah, feeling and move is the best thing ever. And going to the scans as well, even though you haven't been able to come with me.
That is one thing, yeah, that I can't agree with, because I haven't been able to come with you to the scans due to lockdown restrictions. It's been a bit of a mess, and it has kind of sucked, because, you know, I was looking forward to doing that bit, but, well, these are the things that we must do to help.
Yeah. How did you feel finding out you were pregnant? I was terrified and a bit gobsmacked. Every time we had taken a test together, it had always come back negative. And the one time I took a test on my own, and it was a digital, and every time we'd taken a digital together, it had come back not pregnant.
The one time you did when I wasn't here.
It came back pregnant, and I was just in so much shock. It was a clear blue digital, and they are probably some of the most accurate ones you can get. And my period wasn't even due for like another few days.
Yeah, you basically took it early because you sort of felt a bit off, felt a bit queasy, I think.
I just felt odd.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt different.
It was a heck of a shock for me, because I came back from work that day and you were just like, oh yeah, okay. So this was around January time, and she was like, oh yeah, I got you an extra Christmas present that was, delayed in the post and didn't turn up on time. And I'm sat there thinking, I don't buy this at all. And lo and behold, the extra Christmas present turns up, and it turns out that you are pregnant. You went out and bought like the first baby grow that we bought for him that said born in 2020.
Yeah.
It was absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
And that's how you told me.
I think once we'd gotten over the first 24 hours.
Yeah, the first initial piece of shock where it's like, oh my gosh, this is a thing.
We were like beyond happy after that. Like,
absolutely.
Once it had kind of like settled in, we were like, right, we're having a baby. Last question, how are you doing? How has your pregnancy been? I'm doing okay. I'm anxious as we get close to birth. But how the pregnancy's been, I think it's going to sound very generic, but it's been filled with ups and downs.
I will agree. There have been good bits, there have been bad bits, there have been some really nice highs, and there have been some really, really pretty crappy lows.
I think it was just getting the stitch put in. Like, that was the only really bad part. And we had a bit of a scare at the start. Like, we come back from our honeymoon and I'd started bleeding a little bit, and I thought, oh,
yeah,
God,
there were a couple of scares in there. It's been rough. There have been some days where you don't want to get out of bed at all. There have been days where I'm so tired because you keep waking me up.
I think we've kind of taken lockdown and used it to our advantage.
Yeah, because I'm here, I'm not at my place of work, being my
Yeah.
office. I'm working from home more often, and there's more chance for us to see each other,
Yeah.
and for us to help each other out.
Yeah.
So that's been a bonus.
Time for the possible final bump shot. So yeah, that was our 32 to 36 week bump date. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Leave a comment or a like. That is a big help to us because it shows that our content is getting out to you guys.
Shows that you like our content as well.
Yep. And the next time we see you for a video like this, we could have a baby.
We could.
So we will see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.